day, I thought we'd do Woodside. Reported this morning 142% increase in revenues, 228% jump in profit, $6.49 billion as global energy prices surge. Our result has underpinned a fully franked dividend of $1.44 US a share, taking full year dividend to $2.53. On the outlook, Woodside says it sees resilient demand for the energy group going forward. Shares up 0.25%. Mathan, Woodside?
Yeah, no. I think it's a very good play. I think it's a consensus play for the energy sector. I actually think oil prices will rebound. I think that'll be, if you look at history, inflation always goes in multiple cycles. It doesn't happen one bounce and then go away. So I expect another cycle. Generally, energy triggers the start of that cycle. So I'm positive on energy. I'm still, I can't get my head around why I wouldn't be in Karoon and why I want to look at someone else. And it doesn't stack up. And I think Woodside is good. I think the only problem is there is going to be capex requirements. I think you can already see prices coming off for them. So their expectations were pretty high previously. So it's going to be a bit more of a normalization. And that's going to play through the LNG. And the other problem is the main customers, especially in Asia, industrial production is way down. It's coming off hard and we're seeing the demand falling off. So I don't know if that's going to stack up as well for LNG. I think Karoon, being the only oil play, still plays better.
It's got a very similar chart to Woodside then, doesn't it?
It does. And I think for me, the oil plays quite well, and on the speculative end, uranium still plays quite well. I think the thematic still holds.
You'd switch out of Woodside into Karoon?
I would go into Karoon. Yes. Okay. I think the upside is there, and I think the growth play is much better in the short term than I see.
So Woodside's a sell?
I would actually, yeah.
Right.
Because it's a consensus trade. Everyone's there. It's a crowded trade.
Yeah, we own Woodside in our portfolios and Karoon actually, and we've been early on both, done very well out of both of them, and I'm quite happy to hold them. I don't see them as interchangeable, I have to say, Math. I know where you're coming from. I share your optimism on Karoon. I think the upside for Karoon is extraordinary. This could be an $8 stock if everything works out the way they want it to. There's a small probability of that happening, but it could happen. But
so
their cost of production, I'd have both. The cost of production for Karoon is about $30 a barrel or something, and for Woodside it's about $3. There's a very big difference in risk profile. All of Karoon's upside really comes from field development, whereas Woodside has the assets kind of there. They have the resources there. They've got the balance sheet to finish what they want to do. I think it's a much lower risk exposure, and I don't think it's expensive. The inclusion of BHP's petroleum assets was the big game changer. I was pretty ready to sell Woodside, and then you take a look at these BHP assets, and I just think they're fantastic, and they'll purchase at a very good price.
Chuck in Santos?
I don't like Santos. Been a long-term skeptic. I think asset quality is poor. We continue to see write-downs, and I still think that Gladstone project will see more write-downs, and it's a dud.
Just to put it in context, what we were saying before. On a reported earnings, it's 8 PE.
What is Woodside? Wow.
I think energy is a bit special though.
It is, and I grant
energy
that.
Is the
and if I had to pick something outside that, I would go for Woodside simply because it's more dependable, much more diversified, right?
And it pays, you're getting so much cash out dividends.
You get the yield. So, and most people who are holding it for the yield, it's actually okay. I'm not going to say go sell it. That just doesn't make sense. So in that context, it depends on what you're holding it for. We tend to look for the total return basis, and I think Karoon offers a better risk return. But if you're looking at the yield perspective, I think Woodside is probably the best play in the energy.